All right. Hello, guys. This is once again the Philadelphia Whovian, and today I'm going to do my top 10 Fourth Doctor episodes that I think are my absolute favorites. Now, um, yeah, the Fourth Doctor, he was the very third Doctor from Classic Who that I did see. This list, I admit, this list was kind of complicated. Because, as I mentioned in my third Doctor video, the fourth Doctor era, I mean, guys, oh, that is like nerd porn, and you know it. There are so many episodes from his run that I think are absolutely awesome. So it's hard for me to narrow down my top 10 of the fourth Doctor because his era was just so good. So, because of his era being so good, I have a whole crap ton of honorable mentions. So the first honorable mention of episodes that just didn't make the top 10, but yeah, they're awesome. Oh, they so are awesome. And that is The Keys to Time, The Ribus Operation, mhm, The Pirate Planet, The Androids of Terra, The Power of Kroll. They're so good. This was a great season. Honorable mentions. I know some people don't like The Power of Kroll. I'm one of those strange people. Man, I love it. Another honorable mention goes to The Mask of Mandragora, or Mandragora. I heard it pronounced two different ways. Oh, so good. The Mandragora Helix, great invention. Another honorable mention goes to, yes, Robert Holmes. You brilliant man, because you wrote The Deadly Assassin. Oh, thank you, Robert, for writing this beautiful story. Thank you. Well, the next honorable mention goes to, oh yes, this one brought the first appearance of one of my favorite companions, Leela, in The Face of Evil. I think it was Robert Holmes who created Leela. If that's true, thank you, Robert. But I like the Face of Evil story. I think it was written by someone else, but I like this story. The next honorable mention, this one, I don't see many people liking, not they're not don't hate it, but they don't like, I don't get hear much talk about it, and that is Logopolis. Oh my God, the Fourth Doctor's final story. There are so many things about this I just love. You know what? I might even do a video on this one story. Who knows? Maybe I might. Maybe I might. Maybe. Another honorable mention goes to the Centauran experiment. This story is very overlooked because it becomes between the arc in space, I think, in Genesis of the Daleks. Good story, very good. Another honorable mention goes to mhm, the android invasion. I don't know how this story is regarded when it comes to the fan base, but I often don't hear people really talk about this story. But I quite like it. There are many things about it that just simply I enjoy. That could just be me. Who knows? But I'm okay with being me. The last honorable mention goes to, actually, the second to last, the arc in space. Please, guys, don't hate me for not putting this on my top 10. I love this story. And again, I love Robert Holmes. You know that at this point. But there just simply are 10 episodes, don't hate me, that I like even more. And the last honorable mention goes to The Talons of Wang Chiang. Now, this story, I know it's good. I know it is, but the fact is, it didn't go in my top 10 because I haven't seen all of it. In my defense, it's really expensive to buy. I'm still waiting for it to go less than $90. Like hit the $20 range. Because I have a budget. But also when I watch it online, once I get to like the fourth episode, not the fourth, the third episode, it starts like, not responding, skipping, and I can't get to the next part. So I haven't seen enough of it to put it onto a top 10, but I've seen enough of it to know it is a great, great episode. It very much is. Okay, now, so for my top 10 favorite Fourth Doctor stories. This one does not get, I see people who don't really like this one, or doesn't really get much love, but I love it. Terry Nation's Destiny of the Daleks. Oh, there are so many things I like about this. The first time we get Romana 2, who again I like Romana 1 just as much, but also Davros is back. And that's a good thing, especially for the show to keep going on and bringing him back over and over again. And I like the Movellans versus the Daleks, these two equal robotic forces who are at an impasse because of their, illogical impasse. They're both equally logical. I like it. What can you do? Well, okay, so for number 9, I'm going to get some probably hate for this because I put it kind of low on the list, but the fact is there are just 8 episodes I like more. That doesn't stop the fact that I like Stephen Harris's Pyramids of Mars. Of course, I love this episode. Of course, I love this story. There's a lot of good there, but really, Sarah Jane Smith is just so excellent in this story. She is so good. But again, don't hate me for putting it under number 9. Please don't. I'm human. I'm human. Number 8, Robert Holmes. Of course, you were going to appear again on this list. You know you were in The Sun Makers. This is a story about, inspired by Robert Holmes's hatred for paying taxes he didn't like. We all been there, buddy, so we know how you feel. But he took that annoyance, that vexation, and turned it into a story. And these people are being destroyed because of all the terrible taxes. And you've got Pluto with all these suns around it, and then praise the company. Oh, there are just so many things about this story I like, and I think this is Leela's, Louise Jameson, the actress who plays Leela. I think this might be her favorite story of her tenure. I could be wrong, but I recall her saying this was her favorite story, and I love it. I love it. Okay, next. So, for number 7, Terrence Dicks. I But Terrence Dicks, I think the Fourth Doctor era was another good era for you because you wrote The Horror of Fang Rock. Oh, this story kind of scares the crap out of me sometimes. There's just something about um villains who they change shape. That is just so scary to me. And the Rutans, I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. We see the Rutans, and there's just something about them, the fog, and the lighthouse that just works. And also, oh my god, I love Leela and the Fourth Doctor in this so much. They are such a good pairing. And Leela, I love you, Leela. In that scene, I love how sometimes the Doctor he embraces her violent side, but other times he doesn't. And like the one scene where she literally holds a knife to a guy's throat, and she says something like, "I'll gut you if you do not listen to him, to the Doctor. Yeah, listen to the Doctor, I will gut you." Something like that, she says. And the Doctor just smiles and says, "You heard her." Awesome. And the scene where she smacks the woman because the woman was being hysterical and freaking out. I love you, Leela. I love you, Leela and the Fourth Doctor together. I love you both. But again, Terrence Dicks, you wrote a great story. I think we're at number 6 now. Sorry if I got that order off. This time it's a 3-way tie between all of the E-Space trilogy. You're thinking, are you freaking serious? Really? You had Three stories and one tie set again. Well, you know what? It was sold to me as a box set, so I'm going to consider it one entity. There. Yeah. Yes. And this one is I would advise with the E-Space trilogy to rewatch it. Like if you watch it once, I think you should go back and rewatch it again. It gets really better with rewatching. But though it has some inverse situations for me. Like Full Circle I think was written by Andrew Smith, the first one. And yes, Andrew Smith. And I loved it when I first saw it, loved it again when I saw it again, and kept loving it. State of Decay, I'll be honest, by Terrence Dicks. Initially, I did not like it. Then I went back and rewatched it, and I began watching it for what it was trying to do, versus watching it for what it wasn't. And it got so much better. It's really good story. Then comes Steve Gallagher's Warriors Gate, which I loved when I first watched it. Then I watched it again. I didn't like it as much, but it doesn't stop the fact that it's still very, very good. So I just love this. I love this three-parter E-Space trilogy. It was the Doctor's last season of the Fourth Doctor. I mean, just loved it. Full Circle to this day, I think, is just so underrated. Okay, so I believe if we're correcting my numbers, number 5, The Seeds of Doom, written by Robert Banks Stewart. And he's going to appear again on this list. Wink, wink. But The Seeds of Doom, I just love it. I love everything about it. I also, oh, the villain. He is so good. I mean, he's just bonkers. He's crazy. And then that one scene where he's playing the really terrible music that he plays because he just loves to play for the plants, and he thinks the plants, it helps them grow, likes to talk to them through the music. And the Fourth Doctor is like, this music is terrible. It was. That music was terrible. I just love everything about it. Again, Fourth Doctor with Elizabeth Sladen, who is Sarah Jane Smith, very, very, very good. I cannot stress enough. I think this is a very, again, overlooked story. Here comes number 3. If you thought, did she forget about that story? No, I didn't forget about it. I did not forget The Robots of Death by Chris Bowker or Bauer. Sorry if I pronounced that. I butchered that last name. I did. I'm not in denial. The Robots of Death. What a great story. Oh, Leela in it, the Doctor in it, the story itself, everything about it just is perfect. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but you really should go see The Robots of Death. Excellent. Number 2, I don't have it, the DVD, because I want to own it, but it's just too expensive, so I watch it online, and luckily it's one of the ones I see online that it doesn't skip too much, or doesn't have too many advertisements, so I can watch it, and that is, so imagine the DVD is right here. Terror of the Zygons. Robert Banks Stewart, yes, you did it again. That story is so good. Again, Zygons, monsters that can change shape. That is lethal. That is just so scary to me. But the story itself with the Loch Ness, where they get brought it to, kill. I just love it. I love it so much. And for the number 1 pick, I mean, were you ever of any doubt that the number 1 pick was Terry Nation's Genesis of the Daleks? Of course, you were not of any doubt at all. Terry Nation, great job. And honestly, I am so lucky to have this DVD because it's Genesis of the Daleks. And this is America, which means it's always very, 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 very expensive. Very expensive. But luckily, someone sold their used copy and for a very nice, cheap price, and I was able to buy it. But oh, we see the origin of the Daleks, and we see Davros for the very first time, and the Fourth Doctor, Tom Baker, with Sarah Jane Smith, Elizabeth Sladen, and then with Ian, I think his name's Ian Marter, who played Harry Sullivan. Those 3 work off each other very well. I just enjoy this story so very much. I'm happy that it exists for the Doctor Who universe. And those are my present top 10 Fourth Doctor stories, it can change any week. It can. I can't even deny. It can change any week. But again, those are my favorites right now. And I love the Fourth Doctor era so much. He might be my favorite Doctor, but again, that's a list that's always fluctuating. So yes, my favorite of his stories. So, what are your favorite, Tom Baker Fourth Doctor stories, or what's the very first story of his that you saw? Either way, I hope you enjoyed my list, and thank you so much for listening. Once again, this is the Philadelphia Whovian, and thank you so much for stopping by.